My name is Rudy. You're watching a YouTube channel called Alpha Investments. One Florida man's journey of an entire life of cardboard that no one thought was smart, possible, prudent, or simply put, this guy must just be he must be just a dum-dum. Well, you guys have been blowing me up, want me to cover a couple headlines, so here I am. We'll talk about Edge of Eternity tomorrow. I know. Everyone doesn't understand. Rudy didn't pump Edge of Eternity. He hasn't even made videos on it. Is he aware what's going on? No, I haven't been aware of Edge of Eternity. I warned everybody that everybody under-ordered it. Pissed off Wizards. They made the print run lower than it should have been. They to increase Final Fantasy, and everyone said that this was going to be the shit afterwards. I warned everybody we were going to go into that situation with Edge of Eternities. We'll talk about it in depth on the next video. But apparently, I know something's going on because there's been a massive uptick in messages and you guys and patrons all jittery about Edge of Eternity orders being canceled all over the internet. Gee, never heard this story before. Should I even make a video tomorrow, or should I just re-upload the same video for the last 5 years in a row? Or, I don't understand. I just don't understand how things can go up if Rudy didn't pump it. I thought he was the reason things were expensive in this world. So, per the request of you all, let's go into it, shall we? Bloomborough collectors. Yes, if you've heard, 500, 600, maybe 650 with tax now. No serialized cards. I can't reach it. Lazy Rudy. Brothers War collectors. The very first set of all time to have serialized cards. Not only did Brothers War have the very first serialized cards, they had fractured glass transformers, and the serialized cards were schematic blueprints of artifacts through Magic's history. 300, just all-time high, $300 a collector box. Still very low, right? I can't find it. Whatever, I'm ruining the moment. Infinity. I was looking for Infinity collectors. You don't think I'll do it, will you? Ugh. Not recommended. 1 out of 5. 1 star. That guy sure got happy, though. Infinity collectors. The heart of the shit market. Galaxy foils skyrocket. Infinity collectors have skyrocketed. A couple months ago, I ran my last Infinity collector box sale to patrons as a throwback. And that was around maybe February, March of this year. And I told patrons, hey, if you guys want to buy some Infinity collectors, 219 ships, you want to try? We can try that. You can get up to a case of 6 or something, you know, a little master case. I sold maybe 500 or something. Infinity collectors. Still have 2,000 boxes of those pieces of shit. Paid $175 at release. Bought again at $160. In a dirty deal with a distributor to get him off the books to get something else. Bought a third and final time of Infinity collectors at the bottom of the market at $149 for another 1,000 boxes. Tied up my money for that for 2 to 3 years now. I regretted that decision for probably... I think I regretted... I mean, at the time, before I sold some to patrons and things, if I had, let's say, 3,000 was my highest quantity, even an average cost basis of $160. What's 3,000 times 160? Well, 3,000 times 150 would be $450,000. So let's say, so $500,000 I put in a stupid shit, depressing product. All because I love unsets. It's the only thing I like about Mark Rosewater and his bottom water and his lying Magic 30 situation. That man can make some cool shit. Even if he breaks things overpowered, there are parts of him that I like. I just don't want to tell you that publicly. And unsets is one of my favorite things. When this product was announced, and I was told we're going to have our first unset with a collector box, I bet the farm on it. And even as the market tanked in the bear market years ago, I bet more on it because I loved unsets, and I bought it because I loved the product. Now, little did I know the severity of what was about to happen through 2022 and 2023, and that these things would just continue to be complete dumpster fire. And now I knew something was up because I had a couple patrons the last few days begging to buy some cases and master cases and paying willingly. Rudy, will you please just sell me some at $300, including shipping and, including PayPal fees and all that. And I said, I stopped, I looked at the message for probably, no joke, like 2 or 3 minutes. I just stared at the screen. And I don't know if you ever stared at a wall, like an NPC in a video game, for 2 or 3 minutes. Actually count 180 seconds. It's a long time. And I wasn't sure if I was proud that something I enjoyed turned out to be a good investment. I'm not sure if I was bitter and angry after all the... See, something that's not discussed openly in the world as being an investor is many of you all out there you're younger, maybe you're in college, maybe you're in high school, which, why are you watching me in high school? Go out with your friends. Go date the chicks in your class. Have fun. Enjoy your life, man. Just don't do anything stupid. Don't drink and do drugs and hurt yourself, and don't wreck cars, and don't do anything stupid. But enjoy yourself. Because I did that stuff. And you miss it because I always wanted to be older and be an investor. And prove to the world of something and something. Prove to family members. Prove to the ex-girlfriends, right? Right? You know what I'm talking about. The thing that they don't discuss with all this stuff is the life of an investor is it's not sexy. It's not exciting. The life of being an investor on a big boy scale. I don't mean a little Rudy when you got one little box in your closet. I mean, when you do this on a scale of real money, when all the decisions you make are, the average order size is, me placing an order for under $100,000 is very rare. So the average order size is going to be 1 to maybe 1 to 250. And the thing that's tough for regular people and younger Rudy to understand is that I didn't understand that path in the future. How many times that you question the things you do. And especially someone like me I had no template. I had no path. I had no example. I had no one to benchmark. I had no one to build a template on. I didn't have, everybody today, go to Rudy's Patreon, copy the whole thing, paste it, change the name, change the picture. Hundreds of people have done it in the years. 10 years later, I'm still here and there's not even a close second. Why is that? Kind of weird, huh? But I thought he's a pump and dumper. Kind of weird, isn't it? Think for yourself. The things you don't understand is that there is a substantial trade-off to doing this stuff. And to use the Unfinity as an example, and this is a great moment in time, the first week of July of 2025. When did this come out? What was the year on this? The summer of 2022. So my money has been tied up in this product for 3 years. And I guarantee you all one thing. I want to share the understanding and experience and the emotion of how it feels that 2 of those 3 years, I had accepted that I just made bad choices. I had accepted and I had come to peace with the fact that somewhere, not this row, but 2 rows behind this, that pile of these collector boxes of Infinity that I loved and believed in was just never even going to make it above $199. I said, well, I've got a cost basis probably in the 160s, 170s, because I paid all the way as high as the 180s and 190s, and as low as the 149, 150s at the bottom. So maybe cost basis at, let's just say 170, make an even number. And of course, 3 years later, before the last 90 days, these boxes were maybe, what, 199, 210? And I was like, I could have taken $500,000 and what? Put it in NVIDIA? Put it in the S&P? Put it in the Qs? Put it in the Dow? Put it in any traditional investment. And I would have made what? 20? 30? 40? 50% on a normal diversified fund? Right? I'm not talking about individual stocks, because I can say, I would have picked Amazon or Microsoft or Google. Okay, well, at the same time, you would have picked some, you can't, I'm not going to go by individual stocks, but indexes are good to follow. So yeah, I could have probably put in the S&P in the last 2-3 years, made what, 40%? And I knew that. And 40% of $500,000 is, I would have made what? $220,000 on paper? On paper, right? Then, as with all collectibles, you wake up one day and you went 10, 20, 25 months of realizing that you got something wrong, right? That's what the internet said. That's what everybody said. And you wake up one day and suddenly the box is $300 a box. And now suddenly, am I supposed to be proud? Am I supposed to brag to you guys? Am I the hero for predicting the future and getting something right? How am I supposed to respond to that? Because now, let's take it a step further. You go on the open market, you look at TCG Player, eBay, anything. Right now, pause the video, pause your adult inappropriate activities with chicks jumping around and jiggling and checking things and swiping. Pause all that stuff. Half of you guys are in the bathroom pooping anyways. We already discovered that in the other video. Pause the video, go on TCG Player, and look how many Infinity collector boxes are even on the open market before the price goes to $500, $600. $500 to $600 a box. I don't even think there are 2 master cases. 24 boxes a master case. I don't even think 2 master cases of 48 Infinity boxes are even on TCG Player. If somebody wanted 50 boxes below $500 a piece, I don't even think you could get it. And if you bought 20 or 30 of them, the entire market's going to go from 300 to 400 to 400. You're going to double the price again. That's where we're at. So then you take it another step further. How the fuck did this happen? Where the fuck did the product go? Why is this happening? And as I always tell you all, why once again does a small 1% group of the evil investors and the scalper scanner 5000s, why all of a sudden does the tremendous wealth increase not happen to the most people in the card world? Once again, just like every other story we've discussed in the last 5 years, why are most people who love this industry and love to speculate, love to collect, love to play the game, love to invest, love to grade cards, love to go to tournaments in Vegas and events, wherever you are, that's fantastic. Anywhere on the spectrum, you enjoy it for how you do, which is awesome, bro. Fucking A. But why do we continue to make these videos? And today, it's on Infinity, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Why? Not, $2,000. Just like the other story we discussed. The greatest investment in modern Magic history in sealed product. And 95 to 99% of collectors, investors, and players missed it. Today, we repeat the same conversation with the goofy box that Rudy licked the side of, and the little green guy is super happy that I licked him. And the question is, Where'd all the boxes go? Why the price is spiking on Infinity? Galaxy Shocks! Galaxy Foil Shocklands. Galaxy Foil, the full art lands. Some of the chase cards in the set. Some Galaxy Foiled regular rares and mythics in the set. Sure, they're not worth tons. So what? Where did all the boxes go? Why, after 2.5 years of misery and bear market, is all of a sudden this is now a $300? This is a $300 collector box as of the filming of this video. Before I clicked play, TCG Player was $289 plus tax. If you're still watching this video this late in the video, comment below date and time and what is the cheapest TCG Player sealed booster box, not loose packs, not anything. What is an actual English sealed booster box of collectors on TCG Player as of the pause video? What is it at? As of this filming, it's $289.99. And in my opinion, this is a 500. I know. Here comes the pump. Here comes the pump. Rudy made the video. Why? We ask ourselves, why is this going to be a $500 plus $1,000 collector box? Why? Because Rudy's pumping the market? Is that why? The real question is, why did all the other boxes disappear? Why did everybody dump them at the bottom of the market? Why did everybody say, well, it's garbage, you can't sell it, might as well open it and chase Shocklands and sell singles? I know multiple actual brick and mortar LGSs, not even in Florida. And I even asked them. I said, hey man, quick question, Timmy. I'm not going to give out real names, or I don't want to make anyone a target because all the people who hate me, I don't want to bash other stores. I text, one of the guys working at, hey man. And he's like, what's up, Taco Rudy? I said, do you guys have Infinity Collectors? And no joke, one of the stores says, actually, we had 2 cases of 6. We had 12 Infinity Collectors. I said, really? Have you seen the price? I just found out yesterday. He said, well, it doesn't matter. I said, why is that? Did you already fire sell them? He says, no. We were stuck with them for a couple years. And a couple of the boxes we bought in a collection of somebody who's quitting Magic because they're angry. Magic 30, Cynthia Williams. Oh, confirmed. Cynthia Funko Pop sales double-digit decline. So they got rid of Cynthia Williams after I'm sorry. You can't make this shit up, man. You fuck around, you find out. You make stupid choices in this world, you get stupid results. If you are not intelligent, if you make reckless choices, if you take dangerous paths, high risk, if you do this stuff, you pay the price. You pay the price. And I'm at a point in my life, my response to all of you out there and the Cynthia Williams and the people who are angry because the Game Piece Army continues to get annihilated is, it's important to learn and understand the way the market is. It's important to understand how this works long term. The engineering of this YouTube channel over 10 years, like I told you in the video, I knew the older this channel got, the videos would almost get more bittersweet if I was right. If my theory of this industry 3 years, 5 years, 8 years, and 10 years ago when I started the channel, if I was right, didn't have to be right at everything, but if my accuracy rate was at least 60 to 80%, which is, I think I'm batting around the 70% accuracy on getting things right in this world, which is pretty good. I get about 30% of my calls and conversations with you guys wrong, but I think 70% right is pretty good, 70-30. But I knew in a long run, if I got that percentage right, it would be a very fascinating future. So now what's going to happen? Oh yeah, by the way, that store, the rest of those boxes that they didn't have, it's because they opened them and sold Shocklands. Nobody would buy the collector box of these things, so they end up opening them, and they end up selling Shocks, Galaxy Shocks, and of course regular, non-Galaxy. I think don't these have the box topper with Shocklands on top? I think every one of these doesn't have 1 or 2 box toppers where you actually get a Shockland. It's not Galaxy, but I think just right on top of the box. So before we move on from Infinity, it's an important learning lesson for everybody. We've already talked about important learning lessons of this. We've already talked about important, learning. I don't have some other, what do I have around here? There's a great one too, right? There's another video. We've already discussed a lot of these things. But today is a very important reflection moment. As Unfinity, by the time you watch this video, I don't think it's going to be $289 a box on TCG Player. In my opinion, Infinity collectors are going to match the other collectors, which means these boxes should be priced similar, equal to, or greater than these boxes. If you have $200, $300, $400 Chase Galaxy Specialty Shocks, and in this thing, all kinds of anime hidden things, these boxes at $500 to $1,000, these boxes making a run for it, it's where it should be. You can't have $300 to $400 Chase cards in a $159, $189 box. It doesn't work that way. The mathematics, the gambler's fallacy of all these, the basic rules of the hobby of gambling, players, investors, evil investors, and Rudy Scalper Scanner 5000, the numbers in the math will always reprice, readjust. We just don't know when. After 2 years of darkness and thinking, wow, I really fucked that one up with Infinity, suddenly what you kind of thought should happen happens after a long period of time. And that's the funny thing about being a collector. Like we talked about in this video earlier, the thing that's not discussed with the public about this entire culture of money, capital, investing in alternative asset classes, cardboard, is that, you are constantly met with nothing but negativity. Nothing but doubters, naysayers, and people who want you to stay poor, miserable, angry, and fucking broke. And that is the era we're in. That is the social media machine. They don't want you to think anywhere, any other method. They don't want you to take any other path. And in personal opinion, that is why I believe things are not going to change. That's why I've continued on this channel saying the same shit. And I know you guys are all jittery about Edge of Eternities. How do you even get talked to? How do you even made a video on Edge of Eternities? I guess I forgot to pump it. You guys did it for me. And it's, the life of a long-term collector. Even if you're right and you hit your goal and you make millions of dollars, the sad reality is it's still a more darker, lonelier, mentally exhausting path than the Timmy who has no money. He buys the hottest modern card. Wizards reprints all his cards, his prices, and his equity, all the money he put into his Magic cards. He's down 80, 90%, but he's having a blast. He's having friends, sharing memories, playing Magic, going to events. And you have to question, is the individual, male, female, meat popsicle, alien, is that individual, is that person on a better path than someone like the evil investor Rudy, who literally had a thesis 10, 15, 20 years ago, spent the last 22 years on this path, and now suddenly people, oh God, oh Rudy, these are the reason things are expensive. It took me my entire life to do what you guys are seeing now in these videos. It has been a very, very long journey with a lot of crashes, a lot of speed bumps, a lot of bad things, a lot of naysayers, and I don't think that will ever change. And as we continue to move forward, so that's the end of our Infinity conversation. $289.99. By the time you watch this, should be $300 to $350. I expect this to be $500 to $1,000. Who knows where it'll settle? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe tens of thousands of boxes come to the market, and you guys are all hoarding this, and I'm wrong, and it crashes. So we move on from Infinity. And before we end this conversation today with you guys, and then we'll talk about a few Patreon things coming up and sales, and I'll mention a few things, but just let me finish my collector box rant. As we continue to see new all-time highs, Infinity new all-time highs, Brothers War breaking $300 all-time highs, March of the Machine all-time highs. Oh, here's another one. Phyrexia all-time highs. Karlov Manor, $200. Go figure, right? Whatever happened to the days of $150, right? The Lord of the Rings green box. Over $1,000 a box. And you can't even get the one ring in it. The item that everybody said, once it was pulled and nobody would want it, has been gone for ages, with Posty Maloney buying it from the dude in Canada, living happily ever after. And the boxes are more expensive now than when you could actually pull the card. And the entire internet got it wrong. So, as we continue our journey and we review older boxes, and we see all-time high. Is anybody paying attention? Probably not. The worst set to the Cynthia Williams dump era. All the way down to like, what was it, $90 to $100 for a collector box? I remember when these were like $100 for a collector, and the draft boxes were like $89. Like the collector and the draft box were like the same price. That's how fucking distorted the world we were in the bear. That is the strength of a bear market completely warping the reality of how items are priced. Up 100% from the all-time low. Back to, I think, 150 to 170? By the time you watch this video, I know you're going to laugh, but probably even Crimson Vow collector boxes over the next 12 to 24 months are going to be $200 to $300 a box, which is fucking crazy to say. It will continue to break all-time highs as we move forward. Here's a good one for you guys. You guys like this. Innistrad Remastered, a recent one that came out, hit $400 a box. I thought I was a hero. I said, patrons, $350. And they were like, oh, wow. Sold most of them. I think I've got like one case left down there. And now it tanked. It's down like, what, 20%? What's it at, 250, 270, back to 300? And nobody thinks it's worth a damn, right? And just like Unfinity and every other fucking story on this channel, in 12 to 24 to 36 months, these are going to skyrocket to 500 plus a box. And everyone's going to do the Rudy Timmy face of, what happened? Do you have any? Hurry up. Place the orders online before sellers realize and they reprice them. But they may cancel our orders and relist. Hurry up and get in. And the wheel in the sky will continue. So as we... Oh, here's another good one. This era. Hold on. Do I not have it? Where's my Adventures Forgotten Realm? Adventures Forgotten Realm! God, who runs this place? Okay, I can't find Adventures Forgotten Realm or Baldur's Gate. I really wanted to use those two as an example. Can't find... Who runs this shit? Strixhaven. Is this at 500 to 1,000 yet? No? Think about it, okay? Baldur's Gate Collectors. It's really small. It's in my tiny hands. It makes everything in my life look bigger. That's why your stepsister likes me. Baldur's Gate Collectors. Do we need to go back to that story? All-time high. $300 collector box. Baldur's Gate draft boxes. $160 for a draft box. Baldur's Gate Collectors. I wish... Is there some over there? Oh, those are pink boxes. That's Kamigawa. The same thing. I'm saying this stuff and I'm boring you all with Rudy mindset and rambles that... Are you noticing the trend of what I'm saying? The entire collector market is going through a massive, once-in-a-lifetime repricing and change. Some of you all are agreeing with the Rudy theory that it's spillover from Pokemon. Final Fantasy lit the fuse. The Poke Bros are spilling over. It's all ruining our hobby. Timmy's on the internet. Pound, pound, keyboard. Barp, barp, barp. You know, just because they just have time all day to spend on social media to make the tech companies and Mark Zuckerberg more wealthy and powerful. But they're sticking it to the man by spending their day on social media. Fucking people are dumb. You know, everything is repricing. How are people not realizing this yet? Did I already do this? Did I do this one today? I don't think I did this. Wildsville Drain Collectors. What, are they $600 a collector now? $600! And you know what I think about that? Wow, good deal. It's not even 1,000. That's my attitude. Because people are refusing to accept it's all rip off. I didn't want to buy this at 300. Rudy, why the fuck would I pay 600? Because you're stupid. Because the human brain doesn't like Bitcoin's crashing today. What's Bitcoin at? 80,000? 70,000? That's stupid. It's going to go to 20 and then I'll buy. You do you, big boy. The world is going to move forward. No matter how you feel, no matter how I feel, no matter how much you love or hate what the world is doing, the world will move forward. And you're either on board, accepting the markets, the trend is your friend until the end around the bend, and Chuck Norris just steals your stepsister. One way or the other, the show goes on. And the biggest pumper of all time, the 2.5 years of garbage shit Cynthia Williams era. In heavy bags, the largest wrinkly sack you've ever seen. And now suddenly, you know, it's funny now, people look back and they always say, you know, Rudy, you're known for that Pokemon bathroom. Do you all not realize what's happening with collector magic boxes is like the Rudy Pokemon bathroom of 2018 from like 7 years ago? Do you all not realize, like, I want you to understand, this is equivalent to like 10 to 15 Rudy Pokemon bathrooms. And it's happening again. Just like Pokemon in 2018. And the only difference is, it's magic. It's a different brand. And you know what the other difference is? Oh wait, there isn't. The exact same thing. I did what nobody else wanted to do. I bought all the shit that nobody else wanted to buy. I was the only dumbass person who was willing to dump everything into stupid boxes that wouldn't sell, with green guys you have to lick, and the only person who showed up was your stepsister and maybe your wife. And here I am in 2025 explaining to you all that it's still a difficult life, whether you're right or wrong, when you choose the path of an investor. Because what you don't see on these little videos every couple days is you don't see the tremendous amount of nights, the thoughts, the pondering, and if you don't see the 20 months of being wrong putting your money in this. That's not on camera. There's not 40,000 hours of a bear market of me crying over infinity boxes. I just accepted that, hey, maybe I got it wrong. I still like the product. Hey, maybe I got it wrong, but I still think it's a fucking cool product. Hey, maybe it doesn't have serialized cards and I got it wrong. It's still a cool product. I'm happy I own it. You know what? Why not? Right? It's the same thing. It's an issue of perspective in culture and internet negativity. And you guys thought the Pokemon bathroom was this historic Pokemon thing with this dude who made all this money. The Pokemon bathroom is a rounding error compared to the Magic Collector Box thing. I have been buying the maximum allocation from distribution on every Magic the Gathering collector box since they were invented in the end of 2019. Show me one other person who did that. I don't know. I was going to pitch my patron and tell you guys about the upcoming sales of Edge of Eternity. Yeah, I'm aware of what's going on. I was going to tell you guys about the sales and, you know, the HoloLive, the Godzilla, the Gundam, the Pokemon, SV01 and 4, throwback to base and Paradox, and I was going to talk about all this other stuff, but you know what? I just hope someone learns. Someone out there has to be watching this channel, and it has to be helping, and someone out there this has to help someone out there to think for yourself. Don't post on social media. Don't go on Facebook. Don't go on Reddit and make a post under a magic form. Don't go, because you're going to be met with bad advice. Because markets change and time reveals The long game. You know? I got nothing. Anybody ever do the buyout? Take like $1 million and... Did anybody ever do that?